not be subdued. Because what the government is doing is to try to instill fear amongst its citizens so that they can be subdued. But we will not be subdued. So long as the cost of living is still high, so long as our children keep on dying for no reason, we will not be subdued. And we want to ask God to bless you and to give you all the strength.
So Baba's people are under attack. And they know that they cannot touch Baba. So touch his people. They think that if they intimidate Baba's people, they will intimidate Baba. But Baba remained unbound. Baba remained unbound and will continue remaining unbound. You people don't know what Baba went through for 9 years. Please cherish the freedom that Baba has fought for to date. You don't know what the time is. You don't know when the next meal will come. You're not allowed to get a phone call or food or medicine from your wife. When you deny somebody who has a predisposed condition, somebody who is either hypertensive, diabetic, asthmatic, or whatever that condition, that person under Article 43 is a person in need of emergency care. And when you deny them that right, you want that person to die. We will remain bound.
Baba, let the discussion go on. Because it is good to go on, that for people to discuss when there's a problem. But if people are not serious and meaningful, and mean well for the people of this country, I think you will stop it and we do what is necessary. You cannot threaten people with death. Human beings commit suicide when they feel their life is worthless, when they feel bad in their hearts. If people can kill themselves because they feel bad, will you scare them with guns? No. Can you scare them with guns? No. The discussion is for peace. And it's for agenda that is good for the country. It is not for a particular group of people. We have fought for this country for long. Baba, continue.
Yesterday, the religious community issued a statement. A statement that was signed by Most Reverend Martin Kivuva, the leader of the Catholic fraternity. The Reverend Canon Chris Kinyanjui, the General Secretary of NCCK, and Alhaj Hassan Olenado, the Chairman of SUPKEM. And I suppose SJ is part of the NCCK. You know, the religious community, and especially the church, cannot just be issuing knee-jerk statements when the country is going under. And yet, in most times, those statements just scratch at the surface. And why do I say so? If you look at the first paragraph of that statement, which was issued yesterday on dialogue, the religious community are saying that we remind the two teams in the dialogue that their talks are being held in the backdrop of the deaths of more than 35 Kenyans in the demonstrations that happened in March, May, and July this year. Let me say this. The church cannot just talk about 35 deaths without going to show the cause of the deaths. Because it's a fact that all those deaths have been caused by the police. That has to be said. That has to be said. And Baba, yesterday, when we left Bondo, we took a good part of last night compiling the list of those of our children who have been killed by the police from May up now over the demonstrations. As we speak, the number that we have confirmed is 72. And we are going to be able to publish these names as early as tomorrow. 72 deaths and still counting of Kenyans who have lost their lives from police bullets or truncheons. as was the case of the two boys in Nyalenda, whom we are burying today in Luanda. So we don't want these knee-jerk reactions. We want to plead with the church that please speak out. Speak out, even if a good part of you has already gone to bed with the regime in power. We want the church to remain steadfast, if only to be seen to be on the side of the people. Finally, and my colleagues have spoken about it, how can the IG of police and Mr. Comey come out in the open and claim that we are collecting bodies and paying? We are paying mortuaries. We are renting bodies and displaying for the cameras. And yet in this statement of the religious community, nothing of the sort is being mentioned. We would have expected the church, at the very least, to demand that Mr. Comey withdraws those unfortunate remarks, because they remain very unchristian. Oh, come on.
Your Excellency, there is a matter at hand that cannot wait for the outcome of the talks between the two coalitions. Ere de masani chuligo kibikibi niko ya university toki kia nigi thronthinala school nango kin kamano chigana badimande. This illegitimate regime, in their proposal for higher education, will lock out all bright but poor students in this country. For higher education are relying on your wise leadership to push this regime to allow them to pursue their studies without.
We are not interested in any handshake with anybody. What Raila and the Azimio team have spoken to, and all of us, is the cost of living for the people of Kenya. And now, the Luo community has been unfairly targeted. Mheshimiwa Wandai has said, we are burying 72 children. These are real people, with real families. And then somebody has the audacity to come and say that we have gone to the mortuary and bought bodies to display. I have never seen this kind of insensitivity. And if we were not in church, I would have used another word for this man called Koome. Because what he has done is iluongoni sacrilege.
Tuko na mazishi ya vijana wawili walipigwa wakawawa na polisi. Walikuwa hapa Nyalenda katika kaunti ya Kisumu. Mmoja anaitwa Brian, mwingine anaitwa William. Maandamano yalikuwa yamekwisha, lakini polisi waliingia kwa estates. Baada ya maandamano wakavunja milango, wakavamia raia kwa nyumba zao usiku wa manane na wakawaumiza. Vijana hao walipigwa na wakaja hapa kwa hospitali ya Russia, wakakufa sababu their skulls had been cracked because of police brutality. Jana tumekuwa Bondo kuzika wengi ambao waliwawa, karibu watu 11. Tukimaliza kuzika Western leo Vihiga County, siku ya Jumanne tunaelekea Ukambani. Kule kwa Kalonzo pia kuna watu waliwawa, na siku ya Jumanne tunaenda kwa mazishi. So Wakristo mkiwa hapa siku ya leo, mkiomba pia muombe nchi yetu, sababu yale yanatendeka Kenya sio mambo ya kawaida. Polisi ana bunduki, ana risasi, ana uniform ambayo ninyi mumenunua kwa ushuru wenu. Zile pesa mnatoa ndio zinanunua hizo viatu, uniform, bunduki na risasi. Na mmewapa hizi bunduki na risasi wawalinde ninyi na mali yenu, sio kuwaua. Na ndio sababu tangu jana kama wanaazimio tumesema huyu mtu anaitwa Koome lazima akome kuwa IG wa Kenya, sababu hafai kuwa kwenye hiyo ofisi. Tumesema pia bwana Koome na polisi wake waliohusika kwa mauaji kwa njia ya kiholela ya Wakenya ambao tumezika jana, tunazika leo, tunazika Jumanne kule Ukambani, lazima waajibike and justice must be done for these families. Na sio tu hapa Kenya, tuko tayari kwenda hata kule kwa International Criminal Court ICC kuhakikisha ya kwamba haki inatendeka. Tuko pamoja? Mwisho nataka niseme, sababu nimefanya kazi na ndugu yangu huyu Jared Okello hapa, na nimekuwa hapa mara nyingi nikiwa waziri wa maji, nimekuwa mara nyingi hapa nikiwa waziri wa ugatuzi, sababu Nyando ndio tumekuwa na mafuriko miaka mingi. So I want to urge you, my brother Jared, with your colleagues in parliament, and our leader is here. Because of the Kenya Kwanza politics of discrimination, lazima musimame kidete kupigania watu wetu. Hawa wamesema Kenya sasa is a private company with two main shareholders. Tuataka muendelee kupigania watu wa Nyando, sababu ile ambayo itasuluhisha maisha hapa, shida zenu, is not relief food. Ni kuweka ile damu ya Soinkor. Hiyo damu ndio itazuia mafuriko hapa milele na milele. Sasa wakianza kuelekeza 60 billion kule Kimwarer na Aror, lazima msimame mpiganie Soinkor damu, pia sisi tupate share yetu, pesa zije tujenge damu, tuzuie mafuriko hapa. Asante Mungu.
Umeambiwa na minority leader wale watu ambao wameuawa na polisi ni zaidi ya watu 71. Watu 71 wananchi ambao wameuawa, ambao hawakuwa na hatia yoyote. Wananchi watukufu wa Kenya. Na ule anajiita rais wa Kenya anasema, anaambia polisi, thank you very much for doing a good job. Umeona mtu ambaye yeye anajiita kiongozi na watu wake wameuawa na wale wamewaua, anasema you have done a good job. Have you done that? Have you had that? Na pia ule IG Kome anasema ati hao si maiti wale wameuawa, sisi tunaenda kuchukua maiti katika moja ndio tulete hapa. Na sisi mnajua vile tunaheshimu maiti. Sisi hatuwezi kuuza maiti kwa sababu ya siasa. Kwa hivyo wabunge wale wako hapa, na nimeona wabunge wako hapa chap kama mama Abuyo Rose, uende bungeni upeleke mswada, tunataka huyo Koome aende nyumbani. Nani anaunga mkono Koome aende nyumbani? Sawa. Kwa sababu hatuwezi kuwa na mtu ambaye anaongea maneno kama hayo na watu wengine wanapata shida. Talks or no talks, sisi tutaendelea kufuata Raila Amolo Odinga ili haki ipatikane katika nchi yetu.
Now you cannot condemn the killing of young people by the police. You will think that they are killing young people today. Lakini kumbuka, pale beleni waliwaua, siku hiyo walikuwa wamelenga Wakikuyu. Raundi hii wamelenga Wajaluo. Profiling. History repeating itself. Watu walifikiria ni walaia, wakagonga Muge na gari kwa barabara. Wale ambao wamezaliwa juzi. Bishop Muge was murdered coming from a function to fight for the voiceless. Akagongwa na lori akauawa, na alikuwa ameambiwa wewe ukienda kwa hiyo mkutano hautarudi, na ni kweli hakurudi, aligongwa kwa barabara hapa. Reverend Joya mpaka wa leo ukimwangalia alipigwa akafujafujwa akiwalilia wanyonge, the voice of the voiceless. Why Ruto and his evil regime is rejoicing is because the church is in bed with them. If the church was to do what is expected of them by the Bible, we will not be here where we are. Tia jama aka mukubali tu muondoke nyinyi watu wa kanisa. Muende muone hili mili ya hawa vijana vile wamepigwa bunduki. Kwa nini mnaongea mkiwa kule amwelewi? Endeni tu muone ama mtembelee zile mfamilia. Bunduki kichwa. Ile ingine na hakuna amepigwa, ni kupigwa hapa pahali roho iko ukufe.
I'm saying that Kenyans have been through a struggle. a long and lengthy struggle to improve conditions of living in our country. We had fallen so low into a dictatorship. Kenyans were being arrested and detained without trial for a long time. Kenyans were being clobbered by police, being arrested, blindfolded, taken up to Nyayo House, dropped from the third floor onto the streets to their death, and then they would say that you committed suicide. People could never dream of carrying out any kind of demonstrations. It was outlawed, demonstrations. But we demonstrated, and eventually, after very heavy price paid by the people of Kenya, we got a new constitution. That new constitution has been billed as one of the best constitutions in the world in terms of human rights provisions section of that constitution. The constitution that guarantees the right to do what you want to do, the right to picket, the right to petition, the right to demonstrate. It's all enshrined in the Constitution. If there is something that you don't like, you have a right to demonstrate. People are demonstrating all over the world. They're demonstrating in France. They're demonstrating in Israel. They're demonstrating in Australia. They've been demonstrating in Senegal. Yet in Kenya, somebody proposed to criminalize demonstrations. That is, demonstrators are going to destroy properties of other Kenyans. Demonstrators are going to destroy property of other Kenyans. You ask yourself, what properties do you destroy in Nyalenda? What properties do you destroy in Kibera? What properties are you destroying in Madari? Which properties are you destroying in Sondu? Which properties are you destroying in Migori? These are basically excuses to kill Kenyans in cold blood. And we must say no. Somebody goes and then prides himself, praises the policeman when he's talking in another part of the country, spewing political propaganda. That, mtawakalia ngumu, hawajaniona, wataniona, mtawakanyaga, tumewakanyaga. Because you've killed innocent people, you're going to shout at the top of your voice in another part of the country and you're purporting to be a leader of a country. Every life must count. And then you're obsessed with saying, my next responsibility is to take Raila to Bondo. Raila knows how to get to Bondo. I don't need Ruto to take me to Bondo. But what is done is criminal. These people's hands are full of the blood of innocent Kenyans. Innocent Kenyans. And that is why we are all very emotional about this. And this is not something that should be allowed to pass away. We have said that Kenyans are right. People have a reason to go to the streets. People are not mad to go to the streets merely because Raila said go to the streets. They're going there because of their good reason to do so. They're talking about high cost of living. They're talking about high taxation. They're talking about education by their children. They're talking about electoral justice. All these are very fundamental issues that Kenyans are raising against this regime. And therefore we have said that this regime must stand condemned in the strongest terms possible with all civilized mankind. We will not be cowed. And I've said that people don't have to come to the streets. There are many other different ways of protesting. We can ask the people to stay home and don't go out to the street to be shot by police. And next time we're not going to ask people to go out and demonstrate. We'll tell them, kaa nyumbani. Kaeni nyumbani. And people will stay home. They will not go to work. Mr. Ruto does not own Kenya. It does not own Kenya. It does not own Kenya. And with Ruto, Kenya does not consist of only 2 tribes. Kenya consists of 46 tribes. Even those who did not vote for Kenya Kwanza are Kenyans and are tax-paying Kenyans, and they have a right to demand services from the government. So we will not allow you to play with the rights of innocent people. We will not allow you to trample the rights of our people. We will resist. We will resist and we will resist. We've agreed, yes, we can talk. But we'll only talk so long as there is a conducive environment for talking. We have also said we do not want a share in Kenya Kwanza government. We do not want handshake. Hands which are tainted with the innocent blood of our people. We will not touch those hands. We touch those hands. We will not touch those hands. We will stick to what is right for our people. Uhuru.